Hey Giants fans, welcome back to Giants Latest. Today we're recapping day 2 of the Jets and Giants joint practices. There were some good and there were some bad. So before we get into that, let's talk about injuries because we did have some players back at practice today. So Neighbors was not back, although he was on the sideline in pads. So he was there, kind of seemed like he was ready to go, but did not get any team drill snaps or anything like that. So I don't know what's going on there, and God forbid Dave will ever tell us what's truly going on. Jalen Hyatt, Evan Neal, and Drew Phillips were all back at practice today, which was good. I did not see Jalen Hyatt a lot in the 11 on 11s, and I saw Darius Slayton only a little bit. So even though he was back, it seems like he's been getting limited reps. Drew Phillips, I saw out there. He got quite a few reps with the starting defense, so he was kind of right back to it. And Evan Neal was also in the rotation with the ones at the starting right guard spot. So we're going to talk about the offense in a little bit. Three other players that did not practice: Deonte Banks. Don't know what happened there. Of course, Dable did not address it, but he was not at practice, seemingly due to an injury. And same thing with tight end Chris Manhertz. Also not at practice, injured, who knows what it is. Lastly, Jermaine Illuminor was not at practice either, but he's not injured. It's just because his wife had a baby overnight, so I'm assuming that he was at the hospital with them. They had a girl named Amelia. He posted on Twitter, said he was feeling the love and appreciated all of that. So with that being said, Marcus Bowe got most of the reps at right tackle. Evan Neal and Aaron Stinney were in the rotation with the right guard spot, and Drew Phillips was right back at it. So let's go ahead and get into the recap. So the thing with the way that they run these practices is that the fields are parallel to each other like this. And on the far field, which is right next to the Quest Diagnostics Training Center, was where the Giants offense was going against the Jets defense. The field that I was closest to was the Giants defense versus the Jets offense. So I had a much better view of that. But from what I saw and from what I read from all of the other beat writers, the offense was definitely better today, although there were still some issues. So from what I was able to tell is that when they were doing the 11 on 11s, there was some good in the sense that Russell, Jackson Dart, and Jameis Winston all threw touchdowns. And then I saw Tyrone Tracy, Devin Singletary, and Turbo Miller get involved. It seemed like they focused a bit on the run today. So all of those guys were involved. Obviously, Scadaboo is unfortunately still out. Don't know when he's coming back, but he did not practice today, so he wasn't involved with the running backs at all. So I saw some good things there from the run game. Marcus Bowe was in at right tackle. Again, I saw some good things from him as well. I didn't get to see him in one-on-one battles, but I did see him in group exercises. And from what I saw, he looked pretty good. He didn't win some reps, but he did win some other reps. So I'm really optimistic about Marcus Bowe. I know we talked a lot about this during the draft process, that everyone kind of felt like he was a steal in that spot where they were able to get him. And I think that's really going to be the case. I think the versatility, the fact that he's been playing left tackle and right tackle, and the fact that he's been able to hold his own out there has been impressive. So I want to see him continue to improve upon that. Evan Neal, I saw at right guard with the ones. I saw Stinney with the ones, and then GVR was also in with the ones. So again, Evan Neal, I saw some good things. I saw some not so good things from the limited reps that I saw from him. He looked like he was fine holding his own. And then the same thing with Aaron Stinney. So it sounds like the offensive line did a nice job today. The Jets defense is pretty good, and they won some of those reps. But overall, I feel like the offense had a better day today, and they were able to improve and kind of walk out of these joint practices on a higher note than they did yesterday. Now, none of that really matters until we get in a game scenario, right? So we'll see what happens on Saturday during this time. But I think it was important that they bounce back a bit today. And keep in mind that, we didn't see a lot of Darius Slayton in the 11 on 11s. I did see Wan'Dale Robinson make a few catches, and one of them was a touchdown. And then no Neighbors. So, we all know that this offense is not the same without Malik Neighbors. And unfortunately, he's just irreplaceable, which is amazing, but also a little scary, because if God forbid he goes down, what is this offense going to look like? We have guys like Slayton that can catch the deep balls. So can, Wan'Dale. So can Bo Collins, who got some reps with the ones today. There are guys who are capable of doing that, but obviously no one is Malik Neighbors. And you know, I just hope for all of our sake that Neighbors is healthy because we so desperately need him for this offense to be good. So speaking of Beau Collins, he was in with the ones today, in with the twos. He caught a touchdown from Jackson Dart. Dart also got the ball off to Singletary. Russell Wilson had a really nice throw to Greg Dulcich, the tight end, for a touchdown. So definitely some good plays over there, and Wandale had the touchdown too. So some good things that I saw from them. The bad things that unfortunately got a close up of the offense were when they ran a 2-minute drill at the end of practice, and they were able to run a few good consecutive plays. So there were some nice little handoffs, some good runs, and a couple short passes to Tracy, and I think Theo Johnson. And then after that, then they do a rotation at the offensive line. So this was with Aaron Stinney at right guard, Beau at right tackle. Then they bring in Evan Neal at right guard and Marcus Beau at right tackle. Next play, Marcus Beau gets a false start. So that set them back on that drive. They ended up going for the field goal, which was, I think it was 60 yards, and Jude did not make it. He was close, but couldn't get it that far. So, 2-minute drill, not very successful for the Giants offense. They move the ball, and then classic Giants, they get a penalty that sets them back on the drive. So what I will say is the Jets offense also were not successful in scoring on the 2-minute drill. So overall, these offenses, I think, need some help. And with the Giants, the good news is that they have Malik Neighbors. He just is not on the field right now. And hopefully he should be back for week 1. And that's going to make all the difference for this Giants offense. For the Jets, I don't know how to help them. It's not my problem. So let's move over to the defense, because this Giants defense, no one is stopping this Giants defensive line. No one. I have clips on my Instagram if you want to see them. It's at New York Giants Fangirl. The whole thing is spelled out Neyyork. You get it. I have clips of Abdul Carter, Brian Burns, Kayvon Thibodeau, and Dexter Lawrence. No one can stop them. In the one-on-one battles, they literally were just mauling the Jets offensive linemen, just absolutely destroying them, blowing by them with explosiveness, good hands, good. They were able to get out of their stands quickly and just literally throw the offensive linemen out of the way. Very impressive. No one is stopping them. They're going to be unbelievable this year. Just trust me on that. I'm so excited. They're so good, and there's so much to hope for. Someone who does not get nearly enough credit is Brian Burns. And I know that everyone's like, oh, he's not a game changer. He's not a game wrecker, blah, blah, blah. He's going to be this year. Mark my words. The biggest thing about Brian Burns is he acts like every practice is the Super Bowl. 110% effort on every single rep. And I want him to sit down with Tay Banks and be like, listen, bro, your career is over. If you don't do this, I was on one of the worst teams with the Panthers. Now I'm on another bad team. But you know what? That doesn't stop me from treating every day like it's the goddamn Super Bowl. Tay Banks needs to listen up. Now, he wasn't on the field today because he's dealing with an injury, so I didn't get to see him have the opportunity to bounce back or whatever. But, it's just disappointing. And when you see a guy like Burns, it's like, this is what we want to see. I want every single player out there acting like this is a life or death scenario, and that if they don't make this play and if they don't put in 100% effort, their life is over. That's the extent of the passion and the aggressiveness and the toughness that I want to see out of these players. And Brian Burns does it every damn day. He's going to be unstoppable this year. I'm really excited about him. He was all up in the backfield. He would have had a couple tackles for loss. He would have had multiple sacks. No one can stop him. And I think this is the biggest thing about this defensive line is you're going to have to pick your poison. Sure, you can double team Dexter Lawrence, but good luck. Good luck with the other 3 guys on the field. And even if it's only 2 of them and it's Burns and Thibodeau had a few nice plays today, good luck. You're just not stopping all 4 of them at once. So, or even if it's all 3 of them and you have Nacho out there as the 4th defensive lineman, I'm just really excited about it. And I think it's fair to be excited, and I think it's also fair to be a little concerned about the offense. So a couple other things that I saw. Flott was getting all of the reps with the ones for Tay Banks. Paulson and Debo did a really nice job. He, I feel like, was targeted the most from a cornerback's perspective. So I kept laser focusing on Cordell Flott, and I saw him he was able to keep up with the receivers, and it seemed like he would have made some nice plays. He just didn't really get the opportunity. So I saw Dane Bellin out there make a couple nice plays. I saw Bobby O. Micah McFadden would have had a sack. So there were definitely some good things to write home about this defense as a whole. I know the big concern is CB2. If Banks is back on Saturday, or if he's not back, we're going to see a lot more Flott. And in a game scenario, I think we're going to see Flott get targeted and see how he does. My boy Nick Jones was in a little bit for Drew Phillips with the ones and also made some nice plays. Him and McFadden were used a little bit to blitz, and when he was able to blitz, he did a nice job of getting pressure on the quarterback. So he's a guy that I'm excited about, and I hope that he can show out during preseason because he's really going to have the option to be the backup nickel corner behind Drew Phillips, and I want to see him force that role. Someone else, TJ Moore, was in with the ones today. He did a relatively nice job. Again, it really was Paulson Adebo who I feel like got the most attention from a target perspective from the corners. Tyler Nubin was not in a jersey for part of practice and not wearing a helmet, so I don't know what that was about, but I did see Javon Holland on the field. Yesterday, he punched out a ball. Today, he was in good coverage, so I think Holland's a guy to be excited about. I think Nubin has had a really nice summer so far, and I think that he's a guy to also be excited about. I think the fair concern with our defense is two things. Number one, cornerback. Two, if it's not Tay Banks because he still has an attitude problem, can Cordell Flott keep up? And if not, what corner are they bringing in on waivers? Because they have the third spot, so they're going to have the opportunity to bring in a decent cornerback who's going to battle it out maybe with those two guys for cornerback too. And the second thing is, are we going to be able to stop the run if Dexter Lawrence is not on the field? Because obviously the run defense is significantly better with Dexter Lawrence. We saw that today. Dexter got some good snaps, and he was doing what he does best and just destroying people. When he's not destroying offensive linemen or the quarterback, he is good at stopping the run. So Nacho made a couple nice plays today. Darius Alexander did well. Roy Robertson Harris too. I think Jeremiah Ledbetter and Elijah Chapman were in there with the ones. But what I will say is there's not a single defensive lineman outside of Dexter Lawrence and maybe Roy Robertson Harris, because I think he's been probably the best of the DTs throughout the whole training camp so far, who really has stood out as being the best at stopping the run outside of Dexter Lawrence. So that's going to be something to watch during this Giants-Jets game. So for the next 2 days, that's what we're going to do. We're going to preview that game, talk about players to watch on offense and defense, and the expectations for this upcoming game. So stay tuned and make sure you subscribe for more.